Okay, so you've heard of course management before, but you have no idea how to implement it. I'm gonna walk you through this 662-yard par 5 and show you exactly how to maneuver a tough hole like this. So the first important factor in course management is tee box placement. So when you're on a tee box, you want to identify your biggest hazard, whether that be out of bounds or a water hazard or something like that, maybe even a bunker. That's personalized to you. Identify what your biggest threat is, tee off on that side of the tee box and hit away from it. So for instance, on this hole, we've got out of bounds and water on the right-hand side with the creek that comes into play. So I'm going to tee off this ball on this right side of the tee box and aim left. Now, visualizing is a big part of course management. Everybody thinks they can't visualize, but they do all the time. They just do it in the wrong way. So for instance, a lot of people will get on the tee box and say, please don't hit in the water. You're visualizing yourself hitting in the water instead of visualizing what you want the ball to do. Your brain doesn't understand don't, it only understands do. So trust it and tell it what you want it to do. Now, tee box club selection is a big deal as well. You want to make sure you select a club that guarantees, at least for the most part, gets that ball in the fairway. So on the PGA Tour, every time those guys hit it in the rough, they lose 0.25 shots on their overall score. So think about that for the average player. If you miss a fairway, how many shots do you think that adds to your overall score? At least one, maybe two, right? So pick a club based on making sure that's going to be in the fairway no matter what, even if you have to give up a little bit of distance. That's a big deal. Okay, so now we've got a club that we want. We're teeing off on the right side of the tee box away from the hazard that we're avoiding. And as I step back, I'm going to pick an intermediate target right in front of my golf ball that is in line with where I want it to end up. Now this is very important. Most people, especially with drivers, they look way down the fairway. Way down the fairway. Now that's pretty hard to visualize in your head, that big of a distance, that big of a swing, but it's fairly easy to try and get a ball over an intermediate target right in front of it, just like so. So every shot that you set up to, you should step back behind after doing your pre-shot routine, get your target, pick your intermediate target, and align your club face to it, okay? After you've got your club face aligned to it, that's the only thing I want you focusing on, is getting that ball over that first target, and hopefully it'll end up at our final destination. I'm gonna swing a little bit easier on this one because I hurt my hip last week, but I'm gonna choose driver. It's gonna have a little bit of a fade on it because I can't quite rotate as much right now, but I'm gonna pick to the left side of the fairway, take my stance, and give it a shot. There's that little cut. All right, we're in the fairway. So first things first, when you go up to your ball in the fairway, it's exactly where I thought it was gonna be. It's on the right side of this fairway. So this is slightly downhill. That's what you wanna assess right off the bat. Is it uphill, downhill, side hill? This one is slightly downhill. So this is a little bit more difficult for a lot of players. What you wanna remember when it comes to downhill or uphill type of lies, you wanna make sure that you match your shoulders to the slope that you're on, okay? So that's nice and parallel that way. If it's a slight slope, slightly tilt your shoulders down like so. The reason for this is because when you're slightly downhill, your angle of attack and your low point changes. It goes back a little bit farther back in your stance. So also with that, we want to take our ball position here and move it slightly back in our stance as well. So we've got our ball position slightly back in our stance, our shoulders matching the slope like so, and this is how we're going to end up striking this shot after we decide what club to hit, what our strategy is going to be. Okay, so after I assessed my lie, I looked down the fairway and I noticed that there's a fairway bunker right smack in my line. Now what I'm looking for here is, what is the covered distance of that bunker? Meaning, what club do I need to hit in order to hit over that bunker nice and safely? So I'm gonna take my rangefinder, I'm gonna shoot the top of the bunker, and that's shooting at 160 yards. So regardless, I have to carry this ball at least 160 yards in order to cover that bunker. Well, I know from playing this golf course and by looking at our yardage book that I've got about 40 yards past that bunker in order to land my golf ball nice and safely. So I feel comfortable with my hybrid. My hybrid will go about 20 yards farther than that. So I'm right smack in between where it is to cover that bunker and where the last part of that landing spot is. Now, a general rule when you're out on the golf course is a 70% rule. This sounds simple, but it'll save your golf game for sure. 70% rule means you need to be 70% sure that you can pull this shot off or that you can hit that club. If either one of those things are not 70% in your mind, change your strategy or change your club, okay? So I'm 70% sure that this 4 hybrid will be great for me. It'll be enough to cover that bunker, have enough loft even though it's on a downhill lie to carry that as well. So I've assessed everything. I've assessed my lie. I've assessed the bunker I need to get over. I'm going to step back. Again, after doing my pre-shot routine, pick my intermediate target, just like before, set up to it, and all I'm worried about is getting that ball over that target right there, hoping it'll end up where I want it to end up. We'll give it a try. All right, that worked out perfectly, right up there. So we're sitting here pretty on our 3rd shot. Going in, we've got about 140 yards. Now again, what kind of a lie do we have? This time it's a little different. It's a side hill lie. Side hill lie going left. So, just like the tee box, identify if there's any hazards. Right here, absolutely there's a hazard. There's a water hazard to the left of the green, all right? So, a general rule is, a good rule to follow, if you're outside of 120 yards, just stick to the center of the green. Stick to the center of the green, all right? It's gonna be a lot bigger for you, have a lot more options. In a case like this, we've got a big green, we've got water on the left, but also the pin is on the left, okay? So when you're on a downhill, or sorry, side hill lie like this, and the ball is closer to me, it's gonna wanna pull that ball left. So this hole is really trying to test us. It's got a pin, it's the left side of the green, water that's left, and a lie that wants to pull it left. So we're gonna try and do everything we can to avoid that. Okay, so obviously I wanna hit the green, but maybe the center of the green isn't the right play on this because everything wants to be pulled more this way. So I'm gonna aim to the right 1/3 of this green. Now the point of this is, as I mentioned earlier, hey, I've got a little tight hip right now. I'm missing some things off to the right. I know that after warming up. Well, there's nothing to the right of this green. All it is surrounds. So even if I miss it right, no problem. I've got an excellent chip, easy pitch right towards the pin. And if I hit it where I intend to hit it, we're on the green dancing. Okay, so I've got my plan. I've got a side hill lie here. I'm gonna actually end up choking up on it a little bit because the ball is closer to me. All right, so after I do my pre-shot routine, I'll step back and again pick my intermediate target. I'm going for the right 1/3 of this green. Picking my spot. All right, side hill lie here. Choke up on it, just to show you, choke down the grip a little bit. Give it a try. All right, missed the green barely to the right, but as I mentioned earlier, didn't hurt me at all. That's my bailout area. I've got an easy chip towards that pin. Let's see if we can make par. So we're sitting pretty on the right side of the green here. We've got a good lie. We've got plenty of green to work with. So a common mistake I see most players do is they'll take a high lofted club, like a lob wedge, sand wedge, anything like that, and they'll use it from every position around the green, whether that's rough, whether that's sand, fringe, wherever. Well, look at what kind of lie you have. So for instance, right here, we played this perfectly. We mishit the shot a little bit, but we gave ourselves a good position for an easy chip. Let's not make it complicated by having a big swing. So I've got a good, easy chip right here. I'm gonna take a lower lofted club like my pitching wedge. I'm gonna step behind it, and I'm really gonna visualize as if I putted this ball, what that ball would do, where it would break. So obviously I'm not putting it, I'm chipping it. So where do I need to land it first? That's what I'm visualizing. I'm landing it hopefully in an area right about here and having it roll the rest of the way. Now again though, I chose a lower lofted club, so I don't have to have a big swing. I'm going to step back, pick my intermediate target. Now it's a little different. I'm going to stand just a little closer to it, grip down on the grip, and raise it up a little bit, and almost putt it so it hits a little bit thinner and rolls out the majority of the way. Just like that. So our ball ended up within 5 feet, and on the PGA Tour, 5-footers are made about 80% of the time by those guys. So I always have that in the back of my head because I'm constantly practicing 3- and 5-footers. So I got within 5 feet. Now when you're getting yourself lined up, be sure to give yourself 2 points of confirmation, meaning if you tend to go behind the golf ball and read the putt this way, that's excellent, that's great. But choose one other angle to look at it as well. A lot of people, including myself, like going to the side, to see if it's going uphill or downhill. And some other people like looking at it from both angles. Okay, but try and give yourself a minimum of 2 points of confirmation just to confirm your original read. Now, we're within 5 feet here, okay? So it's rare, I mean, we're gonna have circumstances for sure, but the majority of the time when these type of putts, you rarely have to give up the hole too much, okay? It's either inside right, inside left, firm, and get out of there. Now, that's a tough thing for a lot of people mentally to practice, and that's why you gotta practice them out on, the driving range or practice green. But especially within that 3-4 foot area, too slow of a pace of a putt will cause a lot of break, and you'll end up missing them. That's where those 3 putts come in, and that's where it compounds throughout your round. You're talking saving a minimum 4 or 5 shots per round if you just go a little bit firmer, inside right, inside left. So let's give it a try. I'm reading a little inside right. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something and you're able to take this approach to the golf course that you play out. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you every Friday at 4 o'clock for more content.